Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about, has my ex truly moved on? Okay, so the first point I want to get into is there's no way of knowing for sure, okay? There's no way of knowing for sure because you're not a mind reader, okay? Even if your ex has said to you that they've moved on and stuff and moved on with their life, there's still really no way of knowing for sure, okay? You can't read their minds, okay? So there's no way of knowing. Okay, so I'm going to go into some more additional things now, and that is, what are the signs then that they may not have moved on? Because they could have moved on, right? They may have moved on. They may have moved on from you, but there's also a chance that they haven't moved on. So how can you tell, basically, if your ex hasn't moved on from you? So here are a few things. So the first thing is, they still engage with you on social media. If they've still got you as a friend, or they still follow you and they still like your posts, they still watch your stories, there's still a chance there that they haven't moved on, because they're engaging with what you do. And usually after a breakup, and someone has truly moved on, and let's say they even start seeing someone else, usually most people don't want anything more to do with their exes, because in a way it can be seen as kind of disrespectful to, I think a lot of people see it as disrespectful to their current person that they're seeing, that they still kind of talk to their ex, they still engage with them on social media, they still like their posts, right? So if they still do that, then there's a chance that they may not have moved on. Now, of course, you don't want to assume and get all excited and happy and think, oh yeah, they still watch my stories, they still like my posts, they still comment on things. I'm going to reach out to them because because Christine said that means that they haven't moved on from me. So that means they want to get back with me. They want to be with me and want to get back with me and still love me. But that may not be true. Just because they engage with you on social media may be a sign they haven't moved on. It's not a sign that they want to get back together. It could be, but you don't know that. And if you're doing no contact and they were the one to break up with you, it has to be their idea to come back. So they need to be the one that reaches out to you and talks to you, okay? Which goes into my next point as a sign that they haven't moved on, and that is they contact you. What's important to know about that, though, is that when they do contact you, it's not about finalizing or ending the relationship more. So, for example, if they contact you and they are saying things like, when can I pick up my stuff? Or when can you pick up your stuff? Or they're talking about the kids, if you had kids together and it's solely about the kids, or perhaps you still work with them and they contact you about a work-related thing, then don't take that as a sign that they haven't moved on, because they might need to contact you to get their stuff back. They may need to contact you about the kids, regarding them and their well-being, or it may be to do with like a work-related situation where someone else has told them, oh, can you contact so-and-so because we need this to be done, right? It could be something like that. It could be like a business transaction kind of thing. So if it sounds transactional, like, can I pick up my stuff? Or can you pick up Jimmy from football practice? Or, the boss asked me to send this to you, right? That's not a sign that they still haven't moved on from you, okay? If there's anything transactional like that, you have to ignore it, right? And you have to kind of reciprocate in the same way. So if they're talking to you like in a business-like manner, then you talk to them in a business-like manner. However, right, if they contact you and they're just asking about you, they're asking about how you're doing, and they say, hey, how are you? Or what have you been up to? And they don't add anything onto that about something else that is what is really important, right? So to them, okay? Because what sometimes your ex may do is they may reach out to you and be polite and say, hey, how are you? But then after that, they'll say what they actually really want, which is, oh, I want to get my stuff back, or can you pick up Jimmy from football practice? Or the boss asked me to send this to you, right? So it's important that when they contact you, it's just about them asking about you, asking about what you've been up to. And it's just that. They're solely inquiring about you. And then if they're doing that, and you want them back, right, then all you need to say is, oh yeah, I'm doing really well, thanks. I've been doing this, I've been doing that. But I'd love to have a catch up with you. When are you free? Okay. So if they reach out to you like that, that's a good sign. Okay. Another sign that they may not have moved on is that you hear about it from mutual friends. But again, this is something that you shouldn't take too seriously, because then you don't know the agenda of your friends, right? Perhaps they're trying to figure out if you haven't moved on. So what they do is they come up to you and say, oh yeah, so-and-so hasn't moved on. And then maybe they're fishing basically to see if you've moved on. So you've got to take mutual friends and things that mutual friends say with a pinch of salt. But it could also mean that your ex hasn't actually moved on from you, which is why you're hearing from them. Okay, and you're hearing about your ex being sad, because maybe they are sad. Maybe they haven't moved on, right? But the only thing you should really take seriously is if you get a direct message from your ex, right? And it's solely inquiring about you, and they're just asking about you, how you're doing, and there's no other agenda there, right? They're not asking also in the same sentence or a few messages afterwards about something else that they really want, okay? So what are the signs then that they have moved on, right? What are the signs that it's over and they're fully moved on? So one of the signs is that you just haven't heard from them in ages, right? You haven't heard from them in months, maybe even years, right? If you haven't heard from them in a long time and they have made no sort of effort to reach out to you, then it's very likely that they have moved on, okay? It could be that they're just stubborn, but if they're stubborn, then in my opinion, it's best to let that person go. Because if someone loves you and cares about you, but they're too stubborn to say, and they're too stubborn to admit their mistake in dumping you, then that's not someone you want to be with. You want to have someone who owns up to their shit, basically, okay? So if you haven't heard anything from them in months or years, then yeah, that's a good solid sign that they have moved on, okay? Another sign is that you've been blocked, or you've been blocked for months or longer as well. Like if you've been blocked for a long time and they haven't unblocked you, they haven't reached out to you or refollowed you on these social media platforms, then that's also another sign. Even if they've like blocked your number as well, you can't text them or anything like that, and it's been a long time and they haven't unblocked you, then that's also a sign that they have moved on and they really don't want you contacting them ever again, and they have no interest in that. But here's something though. Even if your ex does unblock you on anything, don't reach out, okay? Don't reach out to them. If they want to, remember, if it was their idea to leave, then it's their idea to come back. It has to be their idea to come back, okay? Now, for example, let's say you were the one that broke up with them, right? If you haven't apologized for that yet, if you haven't been the one to say, look, I'm sorry I broke up with you, that was too much of a harsh decision, then you need to say sorry to your ex and ask for reconciliation if that's what you want. If it was your fault, if you ended the relationship. But if they ended the relationship, even if they unblock you, you still don't reach out. They are the one that has to reach out to you, okay? They're the one that has to put in the effort. They're the one that has to win you back because they ditched you. There's nothing else you can do, right? When someone dumps you, there's nothing you can do apart from wait and see if they come back, right, and reach out to you. Of course, don't wait by the phone, move on with your life, but you shouldn't be doing anything to try and win them back, like messaging them or engaging with them on social media. You should be applying no contact, okay? Okay, so another sign that they have moved on is if they've made no effort whatsoever to contact you. So if they haven't contacted you, if they haven't tried to reach out to you, then that's a sign that they do not want you back. They've made no effort whatsoever to get into contact with you, and it's been a while. It's been a few months or maybe even a few years or a year. Right? So if that's the case, then that's a good sign that they have actually moved on with their life. So with all that being said, it's really important that you don't wait by the phone. It's really important that you're not keeping your life basically on hold until something happens with them again, until they reach out to you. You got to move on with your life, okay? If it's been a long time since you've heard from them, then I recommend that you start dating again, start healing, start moving on, getting over it. It's really important that if someone has dumped you, that you take what they say seriously, that they wanted to break up with you. You gotta live from that place in a way. You gotta realize, okay, this person didn't want to be with me. That sucks, but you know what? I deserve to be with someone that loves me. And if I keep on chasing my ex down, if I keep on pursuing them, if I keep on trying to make things work out with them, all I'm doing is I'm creating an opportunity to be in a relationship again with someone that doesn't really want me there, right? And you should want to be with someone that actually wants you, that really wants you there, that isn't going to dump you, right? So you should be trying to find that person. So take the time to heal, take the time to move on, and start dating again and finding someone new. Now, what I usually say is if you was only with that person for a few months, then usually it will take you about 6 months to get over it and to start feeling better. And so you'll basically feel less intense about it. If you were together for a year or multiple years, then you may need a year or a year and a half to get over it, okay? But what's important is that while you are healing and you're moving on and you're giving yourself that time, you are not, right, doing anything that's keeping you stuck. So, for example, watching videos on how to get your ex back. If you're watching videos on how to get your ex back, right, that's preventing you from moving on because you're still in that place, okay? If you're watching videos or consuming content on, that sort of thing, that's going to keep you stuck. If you're still watching their stories, if you're still stalking their social media pages to see what they're up to, right? If you're still doing that kind of thing, that is keeping you stuck, okay? You're not going to move on in 6 months' time if all you've been doing during that 6 months is checking up on your ex. You're not going to move on from your ex in a year or a year and a half if you still keep on checking on your ex's social media page every so often, or maybe even every day. If you're doing that, that's not going to help you move on, okay? If you've got any of these kinds of habits and it's really hard for you to stop yourself from doing that, then I recommend that you get yourself a therapist or a counselor to talk about this issue, because for whatever reason, you have what appears to me like some form of addiction to looking at their page and things, right? So you need to get that sorted if you cannot help yourself, right? So please get help for that. If you would like coaching, which isn't like therapy or counseling, it's just I can only just basically give you the best advice that I have from my own life experiences, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.